The afternoon had started peacefully enough. My son Marcus, 12 years old and proud of his solar panel efficiency model, had set up his display on a folding table near the picnic area. He'd spent 3 months building it, testing different angles and materials. The project meant everything to him. My sister Jennifer arrived late as usual, with her 15-year-old daughter Brittany trailing behind. Brittany wore designer sunglasses and carried the latest phone, scrolling through social media with practiced boredom. Marcus was explaining his project to his younger cousins when Brittany walked past. She paused, glanced at the careful arrangement of miniature solar panels and Marcus's handwritten notes, then laughed. "What is this garbage?" she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Marcus looked up, his face flushing. "It's my science project. I'm testing which angle captures the most sunlight for." "Nobody cares," Brittany interrupted. She reached out and flicked one of the panels, sending it spinning. "This is a family party, not a science fair for losers." I started walking over, but Jennifer beat me to it. Instead of correcting her daughter, she smiled indulgently. "Brittany's right though. This isn't really the time or place for school stuff." "It's okay," Marcus said quietly, trying to stabilize his display. "I'll just move it inside. Or maybe just put it away entirely," my mother suggested, appearing beside Jennifer. "We're here to socialize, not to show off." The way she said show off made my stomach tighten. But I kept my voice level. "Marcus worked really hard on this. He's proud of it." "That's the problem," my father chimed in from his lawn chair. "Always pushing the kid to be something special. Let him be normal for once." I felt Marcus shrink beside me, but I simply nodded. "Sure, Dad." Brittany wasn't finished. She picked up Marcus's research notebook, the one where he documented 3 months of measurements and observations. "Look at all these numbers. What a waste of time." Then she tore out the first page. "Brittany," I said sharply. She tore out another page, then another. Marcus made a small sound of protest, reaching for his notebook, but Brittany held it away from him, continuing to rip pages and let them flutter to the ground. "Nobody wants your nerd stuff here," she announced, finally dropping the destroyed notebook on the table. I waited for someone to intervene. Jennifer was right there. My mother was watching. My father had looked up from his chair. But nobody said anything. A few cousins actually smirked. Marcus's eyes were wet, but he didn't cry. He just started gathering the torn pages, hands shaking. "Maybe this will teach him not to be so weird," Brittany said, walking away. I helped Marcus collect the pieces. His solar panels were still intact, but the documentation he'd need for his science fair submission was destroyed. 3 months of data gone. "I can recreate it," he whispered. "I remember most of the numbers." "I know you can," I said softly. Jennifer came over, but not to apologize. "Don't make a big thing out of this. Brittany's just being a teenager. Marcus needs to learn the world isn't always going to appreciate his interests." I looked at my sister. We'd grown up in the same house, with the same parents who'd never quite understood why I pursued graduate studies while Jennifer married young and focused on social status. The divide between us had started then and never really healed. "Sure," I said. "No big thing." The rest of the afternoon was strained. Marcus stayed quiet, working on his project alone while the other kids played volleyball and swam. I sat with him, saying nothing, just present. My mother approached as the sun started setting. "You're not going to let this ruin the whole reunion, are you? Tomorrow's the big barbecue. Everyone's expecting you to bring that potato salad." "We'll see," I said. Her eyes narrowed. "Don't be dramatic. It was just a notebook. You can buy him a new one. It was 3 months of his work. And he can redo it. Character building." She patted my shoulder. "Bring the potato salad by noon. And maybe talk to Marcus about being less intense about things. He'd make more friends if he acted more normal." That night, after we got home and Marcus was in bed, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Stop causing drama. Don't come tomorrow." I stared at it for a long moment. Then I typed back, "Like the research grant?" I set my phone down and went to check on Marcus. He was still awake, his lamp on, trying to recreate his data tables from memory. His face was determined, not defeated. "Hey," I said from the doorway. "How's it going? I think I remember about 60% of the measurements. I'll have to redo the rest." He looked up at me. "Mom, why did Grandma say I need to be more normal?" I sat on the edge of his bed. Because sometimes people don't understand that being passionate about things is normal. It's actually the best kind of normal. Brittany called it nerd stuff. Brittany doesn't know what she's talking about. He was quiet for a moment. Are you going back tomorrow? No, I said. I don't think so. Because of me? Because of principal. I kissed his forehead and went back downstairs. My phone was lit up like a Christmas tree. 7 missed calls from my mother. 3 from Jennifer. 2 from my father. Multiple text messages, all variations on the same theme. I was overreacting, being too sensitive, punishing the whole family over a small incident. Then Jennifer's text came through. Mom's really upset. Can you just apologize and move on? Brittany didn't mean anything by it. Also, Mom mentioned you said something about a research grant. What does that even mean? I didn't respond. I made myself tea and sat in the quiet kitchen, thinking about the conversation I'd have to have tomorrow. By 2 a.m. my phone had received 45 missed calls. I'd turned off the ringer after the first dozen. The voicemails were increasingly frantic. My mother demanding I explain myself, Jennifer alternating between anger and confusion, my father gruffly ordering me to stop this nonsense. The last voicemail was from Jennifer again. Okay, I looked you up. You work at the university. So what? What does that have to do with anything? I finally texted back. We'll talk tomorrow. Come to my office. 10 a.m. The next morning I dressed carefully in my usual professional attire and drove to campus. My office was in the Research Administration Building, corner suite, 5th floor. The nameplate on my door read, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, Director of Research Grants and Compliance. I'd held the position for 6 years. Before that I'd been Associate Director for 4 years. I oversaw approximately $340 million in annual research funding distributed across 8 departments. Every grant application that came through the university crossed my desk eventually. Every funding decision I made could determine whether a research program thrived or died. Jennifer arrived first at 9:45 a.m. She walked into my office and stopped, taking in the space, the diplomas on the wall, the view of campus, the stacks of grant proposals on my desk. This is your office? She said. Yes. You're a director? Yes. She sat down slowly. I thought you were, like, a lab assistant or something. No. My mother and father arrived at 10:03 a.m., brought by Jennifer. My mother looked annoyed at having to come to campus. My father looked confused about why we were meeting in an office building instead of at home where we could discuss this like a family. Sit down, I said. They sat. My mother's eyes were already scanning my office, recalculating, reassessing. I could see the moment it clicked. You're in charge of grants, she said slowly. Research grants, yes. I administer and approve funding across multiple departments. Jennifer leaned forward. What does this have to do with yesterday? I opened my laptop and pulled up a file. 3 weeks ago, my office received a grant application from Dr. Michael Preston, requesting $2.3 million for a 3-year clinical research program studying cardiovascular disease. My mother's face went pale. Dr. Preston, I continued, is your brother. My uncle. He's been trying to establish this research program for 2 years. This is his 3rd application. The previous 2 were rejected by other institutions. You're reviewing Mike's grant? My father asked. I am. Along with my review committee. We were planning to approve it. Uncle Mike's research design is solid, his preliminary data is strong, and the funding would establish him as a leading researcher in his field. Jennifer was starting to understand. We're planning to approve it? The review committee meets Thursday. I present my recommendations. They almost always follow my guidance. You're not seriously going to reject it because of a teenage argument at a family reunion, my mother said, her voice sharp. It's not about the argument. It's about values and priorities. Kept my tone professional, detached. I've spent my entire career watching families like ours dismiss intellectual curiosity as weird or excessive. I've seen too many bright kids like Marcus learn to hide their interests because their families tell them to be normal. This is ridiculous, my father said. You'd sabotage your own uncle over a notebook? I'm not sabotaging anyone. I'm simply reconsidering whether I want to advocate for funding in a family that teaches children that academic achievement is something to mock. My mother stood up. You can't do this. Mike has been working toward this for years. His whole career depends on getting this funding. I'm aware. His reputation, his position at the hospital, everything he's built. We'll be fine, I said calmly. He's a good doctor. But his research program won't be established. Not with this funding cycle anyway. He can reapply next year to a different institution. Jennifer's voice was tight. You're punishing Uncle Mike because Brittany was rude to Marcus? I'm making a decision about university resources and which values I want to support with those resources. This is insane, my father said. You're throwing away family over nothing. Marcus's work wasn't nothing. His 3 months of careful observation and documentation weren't nothing. And the way everyone stood there and watched while Brittany destroyed it, the way everyone told him he was the problem for caring too much, that wasn't nothing either. My mother's hands were shaking. If you do this, Mike will know. He'll know you blocked his funding. I'm sure he will. The whole family will know. Good. Then maybe the whole family will understand that there are consequences when you teach children that intelligence and curiosity are flaws to be hidden rather than strengths to be celebrated. There was a long silence. My mother looked like she wanted to say more but couldn't find the words. My father stared at me like I was a stranger. Jennifer kept glancing between my diplomas and the grant proposal on my screen. Finally, my mother said, "What do you want?" An apology. I want Marcus to receive a genuine apology from Brittany and from every adult who stood there and either participated in mocking him or said nothing to stop it. I want Brittany to understand that destroying someone's work has consequences. And I want our family to think very carefully about the values we're teaching the next generation. And if we do that, you'll approve Mike's grant? I shook my head. I'll present it to the committee with my honest professional assessment. What I won't do is personally advocate for it the way I plan to. That advocacy often makes the difference between approval and pending further review. Jennifer finally spoke. You're really going to do this? I already did. I sent my revised recommendation to the committee this morning. My mother sank back into her chair. My father looked at the floor. Jennifer pulled out her phone, presumably to text Uncle Mike or other family members. You can all leave now, I said quietly. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. They filed out without another word. Through my office window, I watched them cross the parking lot, their body language tense, their conversation clearly heated. My desk phone rang 15 minutes later. Dr. Susan Park, my deputy director. Sarah, I got your revised recommendation on the Preston grant. You changed it from strongly support to technically adequate committee discretion. That's going to sink it. What happened? Personal conflict of interest I needed to disclose. Your uncle. Family situation. I can't in good conscience advocate strongly when there are complications. Susan was quiet for a moment. Understood. We'll present it neutrally and let the committee decide. After she hung up, I sat alone in my office. My phone showed 23 new text messages. I didn't read them. Instead, I opened the photo Marcus had texted me that morning. His recreated data table, careful and complete with a message. I remembered more than I thought. I'll be ready for the science fair. I texted back. I never doubted it. The rest would sort itself out. The committee would likely table the Preston grant for further review, which meant a 6-month delay at minimum, possibly longer. Uncle Mike would have questions. The family would have opinions. There would be confrontations and consequences. But for now I had work to do. 3 more grant applications to review, 2 lab compliance reports to approve, and a meeting with the dean about next year's funding allocations. I was good at my job. I'd earned this position through years of careful work and sound judgment. And I'd made my decision. Marcus's project mattered. His passion mattered. And teaching him that some principles were worth defending mattered more than family comfort or professional convenience. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Jennifer. Mom's calling everyone. This is going to get ugly. I texted back. It already was ugly. I'm just making sure everyone sees it. Then I silenced my phone and returned to work.